Not the quietest night, mostly due to traffic, but birds are nice. I've got some decent earplugs I can sleep in. Those loops have really been worth the money. It's nice not having to worry about, oh wait, is a car stopping? Is that a light? Charlie came over this morning with water and coffee, so I am officially running late. Social butterfly delay. I also just got a call from the urgent care from however many days ago and clean bill of health, so nobody knows what the heck was going on. Stays in people's yards are not my ideal camp, but you know, one of the big advantages of the time off where I stayed with Brian and family was I got so much private time in a trailer. I can do with a few more public days if I need to. So as far as how I deal with these road walks, it's like anything else. You get there so it becomes real and I can actually like focus on it and pay attention versus like, that's way off. And then you just break it out day by day, thing by thing. So it looks like end of the C&O to Charlie's is kind of the only thing out here, unless you want to risk violating somebody's private property sign out here. And then there is going to be a church in about 20-ish miles. Jen is currently trying to contact them because I have limited cell due to I appear to have reached the foothills. And then day after that, I get down to a campground, which I think is at the base of Dolly Sods. Still a little hazy on that. At which point, I'll do a resupply, get all the charging and everything done, because then after that, I'll have a 60-mile food carry. And I fully anticipate Dolly Sods going a little slower. I have heard of the mud puddles and things like that. One of the fun things of hanging out with Charlie there and drinking an extra cup of coffee was getting to hear war stories of ADT hikers past and present and the various issues they've had. And I kind of figured the carts that I saw some people had attempted were not the easiest way to go about things here. Way too easy to load it, way too heavy, and up ahead it's not all roads like this. Not to mention, you can imagine if you're weighed down how hard it is to go up and down hills like this. I've done it with scuba gear and it sounds great until you're doing it. Forecast is for a little bit of rain today, but I'm happier with that than sunshine as long as I'm on limited water. I'm going to skip the Dollar General. I have enough food on me to make it till Saturday night when I can get a better set of food. So I'm just going to eat my leftover bars and things until then. My hunger does seem to be coming back slowly. I once again was able to enjoy my morning coffee, which you have no idea how miserable it is when I was waking up. Not only was I nauseous, not only was I not wanting to eat, but can't even enjoy a warm cup of coffee. You know, sometimes you find the coolest stuff on the side of the road, but the problem with taking it is you got to carry it with you. That one was a Yeti tumbler, but you know, it wasn't my color anyway. So per rumors, gossip, and social media, I've leapt past somebody. Pretty sure Leaf is still a day behind. And there's somebody like a day ahead, but it looks like people have been taking varied routes around Dolly Sods. I would really like to go do, you know, the red line as it stands through there and get to see some trail miles. Obviously, if I'm slogging through waist deep mud, that preference is going to go away pretty quick. If it's knee deep mud, maybe it's a little iffy. Ankle deep, psh. Have you even seen Florida? So part of why I stayed with Charlie and why I'm planning on a church tonight is, while this section looks like there would be stealth camping, notice how hilly everything is. And there are a lot of posted no trespassing signs everywhere. I will do kind of gray area camping where I know it's technically private land per the Gaia thing, but I don't like hopping fences and I don't like going past signs specifically asking one not to go back there. Now, sometimes they're just there so they can boot people off or avoid hunters, but people don't know what I'm up to here. I got a note from the coordinator for the state ADT Society, they were super helpful. Gave me a whole list of stops and some waypoints and things I didn't have. And they said this particular town, people with backpacks are suspect because they have a lot of drug issues, and that's how the drug sellers run their product around. That was an issue down in Florida. That is partially why I have my pack set up the way it is, where it looks like I am a hiker. I have patches on the back saying I'm walking across country. I carry my trekking poles. Trekking poles are now out, not just because it is steep, but because there have been some dog incidents in this section. I have some dog spray in my hip belt, just a little one. But every bad attack I've had, there hasn't been time. They're on you so quick. Just using the trekking poles to fight them off has been the better solution. And they'll usually back off eventually. Though in Florida one time I had to fight them, hundreds of feet down the road before they finally broke off. And sometimes the owner will come out and try and recall them, often too late. And in at least one or two frustrating cases, it seemed like the owners were actually releasing the dog out the back, finding it funny to stick it on hikers. Rural areas. Yet another reason we can't have nice things. So yesterday, end of the day, I was feeling run down, tired, kind of stressed, but once I get a day or two into, whatever the next section is, I adjust to whatever the reality is, and it's no different this entire hike or any hike. You're dealing with it one day at a time. Things will change. Planning too far ahead doesn't matter because you never know what's going to happen. Just got to stay flexible. Assuming this church grants permission, all I need is stay in the yard. I'm not asking for anything major. Maybe fill up some water if I'm very lucky. I have about a 20-mile day. It's funny, a 15-mile day is basically easy at this point. 10's trivial unless I'm feeling bad. 20 is a good amount. I'm feeling tired. Pushing it past there gets into diminishing returns pretty quick. Obviously, I'm hoping to improve and make 25 my normal, but it's a process. You can't rush it. If I try and push too many miles just because I'm paying too much attention to the numbers, I can end up with a setback and having to come off trail for days at a time. Charlie was telling me horror stories about other ADT hikers' feet by the time they got to him, and I can believe it. Anybody who picks this to do as their first hike, they might make it, but you're not setting yourself up for success. Road miles tend to really tear up your feet. And good news, though, these New Balance Heroes I have actually been holding up. They're up to about 350 miles or so far. And normally Ultras are having the sides blown out and all sorts of issues. I bought 4 or 5 pairs of them because they were on sale for $89, and considering, the Olympus in my size are usually around 160, and I haven't had luck with any cheaper options, I jumped on it. If they're working this well, I almost wish I'd bought more while they were available. I was just gun shy because we did that for the CDT after running into challenges on the Eastern Continental Trail. On the AT section, there were COVID shortages all over the place in the supply chain. So we were looking nationwide trying to find size 14 Ultras for me. We pre-bought for the CDT, spent a ridiculous amount just on a pile of shoes, only to then find that the durability issue was, in some cases, having them all but fall apart in 250, 300 miles. Then I tried switching to Topo Ultraventure Pros. On paper, they seemed great. On reviews, people talked about a wide toe box. They are not as wide as the Ultras, though. And it took me a whole heck of a lot of foot issues on the Grand Enchantment in spots where I did not need foot issues, because the carries on that are long and hard. Before I kind of realized what was going on, got a pair of Olympus, and it was like slipping into a slipper. Everything got better. This is why I tell people I'm on team just not that good at this. I attribute whatever success I've had through hiking to stubbornness, not an innate inability, that makes this easy. Between my hip flexor issues and other things over the years, it's kind of like that scene in Orgasmo where he's just asking for a sign where he can do, so whether he should do something, and keeps having earthquakes and other things. And he's like, yeah, just any sort of a sign. I'm just bad at taking a hint. Hey, what do you know? Slightly bigger hills. Apparently I'm going to be like climbing thousands of feet once I get into Dolly Saws proper. That should be fun. I don't think I've had a single turn that wasn't marked with a post. These guys are going to spoil me. Just got chased down by the farmer. These folks say they've seen a good number of people come this way. He also said he had hosted somebody, but you know, stuff like that, I can't depend on it. I don't normally end up in situations like that because by the end of the day, I want to have someplace I'm headed for or be secure if I'm stealth camping. But it does warm your heart that there's people out there that will go above and beyond for random strangers. 40 more road miles to Dolly Sods. About 16 to that church I was hoping to stay at. I approve of that sort of signage. I have laughed a few times at the welcome sign out front. Right next to it, stop, private drive, no trespassing. And in one case, a sign saying, you know, with the pistol, we don't call 911. Mixed messages. Thought I'd seen some marmots. Supposed to be a spring around here somewhere. Huh. That's not what I expected. So I'm pretty sure this spring is straight drinkable, but I'm gonna run it through my filter. I just flushed 2 liters. I haven't used the filter since the issue, so, but I don't have an easy way to replace it. So if it's gonna get me sick again, I need to know sooner rather than later, since I'm getting at a more remote spot. And the Sawyer doesn't take long. I was just chatting with a local who came by to fill up all his jugs. Always neat when you have those like community water sources. Run across that a couple of times up in Canada. So now I have the exciting wait to see, am I going to get sick again? Part of me would have liked to replace the filter, but I mean, I didn't replace the bottles. I didn't have access to replacing everything easily. And I have to be realistic. I mean, it was, we don't think it was anything biological. And if it was something chemical based, it would have to be pretty pungent to flush through, 2-3 liters of water and then still be enough to affect me. I need to know though. I mean, I'm going into Dolly Sods and some more remote areas, so if I'm going to get sick from using that filter again, I'd rather do it now when I have access to some friendly folks. So it's a little after 4. I filled up with my normal trail carry, my 1.5 bottle plus my 1 liter. I'm guessing I'll be able to fill up at the church up ahead, but just in case. We did hear back from the Antioch church. They said I am welcome to stay there. Not sure if it's inside, outside, but we'll see. They're keeping an eye out for me on the roads, they said. So I've got about 5 more miles to get to them, settle in for the night. Tomorrow's going to be get as many miles as I can. And then Jerome and his wife are going to pluck me up and give me a chance to get sorted before Dolly sods. So better resupply, laundry, shower, yada yada, because it looks like that might be few and far between for a while. Okay, haven't had death crossing in a while. And that Methodist church is where I'm aiming today. Okay, 5:50. Not too bad considering that delay this morning talking to Charlie. I don't know if I'm sleeping inside, outside, or what. It does look like it's gonna rain again, but what else is new, right? East Coast. So I was really just looking for a quiet corner to set up in, but they're actually opening the chapel for me and I get to stay in there. Normally, if there were other hikers around, I would totally camp, but this is kind of a unique thing, and I'm all about the unique things. So I have run of an entire church, and I am on the floor. You know why? This is where the power plugs are. The lady that let me in, also, she brought me like carrots, celery, and even better, massive amounts of caffeine for the morning. I just get blown away when I run into folks like this. They're just so nice and generous on something like this. This will make for a slightly more comfortable night than a few of those there. I even get to use their Keurig. The worst part of being in here, honestly, is just I'm now smelling myself, but what you gotta do? So this is a little different than normal. So I went with staying indoor just because this was unique, and I like unique experiences. Home sweet home for the night.